Welcome. I'm on my way to a conference and decided that it would be good to do the Formula One News Hour on the way. So we've got rid of our Eastern swing, Eastern being the Eastern countries, China, Australia, Japan. This week we get the race from Miami. This is the second year for the Miami Grand Prix. All the kinks and things that were evident last year should be worked out nicely. But first, let's go ahead and thank our sponsors for the Formula One News Hour. It is F1NH, a small data center in Austin, Texas, specializing in all things technology. That is F1NH.com. So if you need private cloud, public cloud, co-location, disaster recovery, in fact, anything in the technology stack, then please give F1NH a call. That's F1NH.com. And of course, my favorite, Moms for Liberty, the whole purpose in life is to help you. That's right, help you. They want to help you get involved in school boards and in the education of your children. So please go to momsforliberty.org, join one of their, I think they've over 300 chapters now. They're growing quite nicely, and support them and get involved, and let's get your kids learning English and math and all those things necessary to help them once they graduate from high school or college, or if they might maybe just want to be mechanics or plumbers, which we're in dire need of, maybe that's what they want to do. So please go to momsforliberty.org and help them support you. That's momsforliberty.org. And of course, our friends at Give, Send, Go, you can't always help what happens to you in life, but you can help who you're going to choose to help you in life. So if you need some funds, or you just need to help somebody else that needs funds, could be a friend, a relative, or somebody you don't even know, or you may be trying to raise money to start a little business, please think of GiveSendGo.com. That's GiveSendGo.com. And, of course, our public service message for the race against dementia. Sir Jackie Stewart organization, his wife, Linda, is a dementia sufferer. And, about 1 in 3 families in the world has someone that suffers from dementia in their life. So please, go out there and support the race against dementia, for us. Okay. So, a little bit of news, not news. I don't know. So there's kind of a confirmed rumor that, Adrian Newey will bow out of Formula One. He won't bow out of Red Bull, and he won't bow out of Formula One until we're well into the 2025 season, which would suggest to me that Adrian's 65. I read something last week where he's saying, he wants to spend time traveling, actually, strangely enough, just traveling around France in a little camp with his wife and just kind of start relaxing. He's been doing this a long, long time. He's been doing it for 45 years now, folks. And like anything else, I can attest that after a while, doing something over and over again, even if you love it, it gets time just to take a break. And at 65 years old, maybe it's a permanent break, but he wants to focus more. He's had this dream of building supercars. And in fact, 3-4 years ago, they got with Aston Martin. Maybe it's a little more. Read his book, How to Build a Motor Car. Because they formed a separate company called Red Bull Technologies, which is different from Red Bull Racing. And so Red Bull Technologies is the entity that's building these supercars. So you might want to go, and just check it out. But have we seen the end of Adrian Newey in Formula One? I think he's deciding to phase his way out. And no, it has nothing to do with all of the other stuff going on at Red Bull with Christian Horner. That to me is old news. The girl that made these accusations put in an appeal, and from what I can gather, the appeal's kind of on a back burner. So it's one of those things, just leave it alone and it will go away. Now, nobody knows what really went on there. And in this age of, rumors and everything, everybody wanted to crucify Christian Horner. And it's not just Christian Horner that gets crucified. It's any time a woman makes an accusation against a guy, then the woman is automatically believed. And believe me, we do need to believe women. I've got a wife and 2 daughters, so I certainly back that part. But at the same time, there's one woman that's involved with a movie star now is being criminally prosecuted for extortion because she made an accusation against him, and he said, if you don't pay me money, then I'm going to go public with this. And instead, he went to the FBI. So she's in real trouble now. And I think we've got to see more of that. But on the other hand, we have guys like Max Verstappen's father, Joseph Verstappen, saying, Red Bull's going to crumble. And you've got other people, really smart people out there, right? These people have never done anything but being journalists or race car drivers or other stuff, but they're predicting the downfall of these corporations, of which none of them have ever run one, right? They just predict because, they're smart people. They're much smarter than the people that are actually running it. right? If they only knew that, the people that are running it would hire these other people. But no, it just amazes me that people that have actually not been involved in running corporations and stuff like that get out there and predict what's going to happen. But Red Bull will be just fine, just the same as every corporation is just fine. I used to work for big corporations, and we used to have these guys, if I ever leave this company, it's going to go down the tube. Well, they'd leave and nobody even knew they left. Anyway, let's get back to the Formula One, and we're at Miami, and everybody seems to be starting on medium tires with the exception of Hamilton, who is starting on hard tires. We've got the formation lap going here. Everybody, like I said, is on medium tires with the exception of our great good friend Lewis Hamilton. Incidentally, talking about the drivers and stuff, yesterday we had the sprint race in Miami, and the great Danny Ricciardo managed to redeem himself somewhat, came in fourth, but then in qualifying, he did not do well. He did not get out of bottom fives. Your starting order anyway is quite predictable, right? I know. It's Verstappen and Leclerc, Carlos Sainz and Perez, and then the two McLarens, Piastri and Norris. So as we watch them come around for the formation lap, it's really kind of interesting. Hamilton yesterday got passed by Yuki Tsunoda during the sprint lap. And the end, he on the last lap of it was a 19 lap sprint race. He passed Tsunoda again, but think about that. Lewis Hamilton getting passed by a number two driver, because Danny Ricciardo was quote unquote the number one driver for the second Red Bull team. Very interesting stuff. And of course, Hamilton again comes in behind George Russell. So that's just getting to be a habitual thing. And one of the things that when I was watching the sprint race yesterday that I found very interesting. I've been saying now for a couple of years, I don't think Hamilton's got another race win left in him. Watching him drive yesterday, it was really evident. One of the things that I was reading this week was that as Ferrari made a huge mistake in letting Carlos Sainz go and replacing him with Lewis Hamilton, because I think Carlos has been on the podium now 3 times in the first 4 or 5 races of the year. Hamilton hasn't got close. So you've got to think to yourself, he's always behind George Russell. And that could be team orders, given the fact that obviously Hamilton is no longer the number one driver at Mercedes. Mercedes have got to really take up and make George the number one driver as they search for number 2. And as we watch them come up, if you've ever watched this, you'll see them doing this with the steering wheel. They're scrubbing the tires to keep them warm. Because if the tires get too cold, then they lose grip. Of course, Miami, the weather's going to be nice and warm down there. Don't know exactly what it is. Looks like the skies are blue as we watch now the final cars. Many of the guys on the first row, they're sitting there for 4 or 5 minutes as the emergency car comes in, the green flag comes out, and the red lights go on rather, and they are off, and Hamilton gets a very good start. And so does Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz just jumped ahead of his teammate. And whoa, and we just saw Perez nearly take out about 3 or 4 different cars right there. How anybody came out of that team, I have no idea, but they have. And Verstappen's already got a second between him and second place. As we see Perez work his way up. The other guy that's worked his way up a little bit is Lando Norris. Right now, looks like we might be escaping any disasters here, which will be a very nice thing. It's always good to escape disasters. Verstappen got off to a beautifully clean start. And Perez, what he was doing, I have no idea. And how he didn't take out a bunch of other cars in the field, I have no idea either. Because somehow he kind of cut straight across. It looked like in front of Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris. So pretty soon they're going to give us a positioning here. I'm looking at this on the small screen today, so I can make sure that I bring you this live from Miami. And we get the first lap just about under our belts here. We've got the Ferrari, Lando Norris, the Ferrari, and then Sergio Perez. So Perez has brought back 1 place. And it was Oscar Piastri, not Lando Norris, that he nearly took out. And Piastri now finds himself in 3rd place. Leclerc managed to get his 2nd place back, and Carlos Sainz is in 4th. So Lewis Hamilton is back in 7th. He's just dropped back to 8th. Got overtaken by a Haas car, Hulkenberg in a Haas car. Really? George Russell's dropped back to 10th, and let's see, Alonso's back in 12th, Stroll in 11th. That was another interesting thing, because you always hear me beating up on Lance Stroll, right? Because I just don't think that if his daddy didn't own the team, I don't think he would be out there driving in Formula One. But credit to him this week, he outperformed his teammate in the qualifying for this race. He qualified 1 place above Alonso, so credit to him. Maybe he's learning as we go along here, which wouldn't be a bad thing, right? It's always good to learn. Folks, this race might already be over. Verstappen's already up. We're not 1.5 laps in. He's got 1.6 seconds. And so maybe what we should do today is kind of focus a little bit on some of the rumors that we've heard out there, right? That's always a good thing, focus on gossip, but also focus on the cars in the middle of the field. As we go now into lap 3, Verstappen, like I said, is a good nearly 1.5, 2 seconds ahead of the rest of the crowd. Oscar Piastri's just turned in the fastest lap, so that's very interesting. And Lando Norris is back there in 6th. Hulkenberg is 7th, Hamilton, and then Tsunoda. Russell, Stroll, Gasly, Alonso, Ocon, Sargent. Let's talk about rumors. There is rumors that after this week, we go back to Europe for the racing. That'll be on the 19th, will be the next race after this one. And there are rumors that Logan Sargent will not be part of the team when that happens. And I think Williams have done a really good job in trying to keep Logan Sargent around. He's like a Lance Stroll. He's not a natural Formula One driver, and it's showing. It's showing in his results. It's showing in the number of accidents that he has. Not to say he's not a really good race car driver. For sure he is. But I think he's better off where he came from, which was the Indy Racing League. So anyway, who's in dead last? Ricciardo's dead last. That's very interesting. He started 19th, so somehow he's ended up dead last. Let's see what his day brings. No idea, after doing so well in the sprint yesterday, 4th place, why he couldn't get qualifying, get out of that bottom 5. But like I said, I think he started 19th. So, but he does have DRS on Magnussen, but Magnussen's got DRS on Bottas, and Bottas has got DRS on Joe Granu. That's another one, by the way. Joe Granu has talked where he might not last out the season. I guess the news I haven't brought you, there's been a couple of weeks, is that Hülkenberg has signed with Audi. So this is his last year at Haas, and he will go to Audi next year. Audi has bought what was Alfa Romeo, but that means that either Valtteri Bottas or Joe Granu are out of the ride for next year, at least for the time being. It's interesting. Verstappen is not putting as much of a gap as he was right at the beginning of the race between himself and Charles Leclerc. So Piastri jumped up 3 places, by the way, as he moves into 2nd place. Well, Oscar Piastri having a really, really good time with that car of his. That's really, really, really interesting. He's come up from 6th place to 2nd place. So that car is handling beautifully for him. And who else is on hard tires? Anybody? Yeah, Magnussen and Ricciardo are also on hard tires. So that's going to be interesting to see the medium versus hard tires and how it affects them. It's, we've also got Alonso on hard tires. We've got the typical, soft, medium and hard for this race, as they do all races. Of course, that's the gradient, and then we've got the wet and the intermediates and stuff like that. Anyways, Verstappen now has opened up a 2-second lead. So even though Piastri has passed his lap, Verstappen's still managing to open up significant lead on him now as he goes over that 2-second mark. We've got Carlos Sainz, who has DRS on his teammate. Leclerc has DRS on Piastri, so a little challenge going backwards and forwards there for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th position. So back to the decision for Ferrari to get rid of Carlos Sainz and bring in Lewis Hamilton. Right now, it looks like a bonehead of a move because Carlos Sainz is proving that he is a better, more reliable driver than Ferrari's quote-unquote number 1 driver, and that is Charles Leclerc. As we go back to the start, I want to really watch this because I want to see what Sergio Perez comes through. Oh, he nearly ran into the back of his teammate, is where he cut across all the cars, and he nearly ran into the back of, he came in from the right-hand side of the track, nearly ran into the back of Max Verstappen's rear wheel. That for sure, if he had managed to do that, that for sure would have, that for sure would have ended his career at Red Bull. That was so crazy close. And how he didn't take out Carlos Sainz, I don't know. Because they can't put the words on the TV. What was that? It should be a penalty. He nearly took us all out. Yeah, he did. But nearly doesn't count, right? So it'll probably not end up being anything. No harm, no foul, or whether no foul, no harm, whatever it is. But so anyway, we're quite well underway here. And we're on board with Alonso as we watch Alonso. And I'm going to think it's Logan Sargent getting into it right there. And Alonso's let Sargent go because Logan Sargent's left rear wheel was banging into the right front wheel of Alonso. It's better to get out of the way, drop back, and have some more race in you than to fight an inexperienced driver like that. So let's see if I can figure out who it was. It was Alex Albon, and Alex Albon should know better than that. He's a good, respectable driver. There's talk of Alex Albon being the number 2 driver at Mercedes next year. Now, whether or not Alex Albon will want to do that, he's the number 1 driver as we watch Lewis Hamilton nearly lose it. I'm going to suggest those hard tires are probably the reason for that, or just the fact that Lewis just struggles now. But Alex Albon, I don't see him leaving Williams and being the number 1 driver at Williams to become the number 2 driver behind George Russell at Mercedes, because quite frankly, Mercedes, the team is not that much better now. Back to where I was, I don't see Alex Albon wanting to give up a number 1 seat to be a number 2 seat. Especially, Williams are making quite good progress. That's the word I was looking for, progress. They're making quite good progress on their car. At least they did the back end of last year. This year they kind of slipped a bit, but I don't know if they've slipped a bit or if all the other cars have just caught up a little bit. We're going to see Nico Hülkenberg now try and take that position back from Hamilton. Hamilton's not happy. He had to give the position back. And Hamilton just locked up is what happened. Wow. Yeah, Hamilton's really struggling these days, which we talk about the great sportsmen that maybe carry on a little too long. in American football, had a couple of guys that retired right after they won a Super Bowl. That's a smart thing to do. Pete Sampras from tennis, he won the US Open. The guys, that's about it for me. I've had enough. I think it's always best to go out on top than it is to keep struggling and struggling. We're watching Rafa Nadal. I know we've got Formula One, but I'm also a tennis fan. We are Rafa Nadal trying to have a last hurrah back in tennis. And he's hardly played the last year and a half because he's been injured. But quite frankly, I'm surprised, 37, I think he is now. He's even still playing because when he was a kid, I predicted he'd be out of the game by the time, before he reached 30, maybe 27, 28. So did a remarkable job of managing his body. But anyway, back to Formula One and sports guys trying to hang on too long. I think Lewis Hamilton should do the smart thing. He's got all the money in the world. He can do anything he wants. He's making movies right now, right? He's one of the executive producers on this Formula One movie with Brad Pitt. He should just kind of, say, okay, well, that's been a great life. Thanks very much. Now it's time to go into another phase of my life. So anyway, let's see. Now, Verstappen is now 3 seconds up. Leclerc still has, DRS on Piastri. Sainz has DRS on Leclerc. And Perez is 1.4 seconds back. So, when we go back, Ricciardo's still got DRS on Magnussen. But that's all he's got. He hasn't moved. He's still back there in dead last. So I'm assuming he's waiting for those hard tires to come into play, but so is Magnussen. He's also on hard tires. In the middle of the field, Lance Stroll hanging in at 11th position there. Tsunoda's hanging in at 10th. Albon at 14th. Ocon, the new guy at Alpine, the guy that was going to save it from the last guy. Well, he's worse than the last guy because now Alpine is all the way down at number 14. So they're not in any point scoring positions right now. So we have tire changes going on right now as we come to the 15th lap, and kind of exciting bit of news that's been going on is Danny Ricciardo has made his way up to 14th. Been doing some nice driving there. Both the Williams teams now find themselves back in 18th and 19th, and Valtteri Bottas has dropped right to the bottom. There was a battle going on between Lance Stroll and Alex Albon. Not very nice driving stuff going on there from Lance Stroll. I think we might see a 5-second penalty coming down for that one. At the top end of the field, I think Max Verstappen has been told to back it off on the gap between himself and second place because he's consistently sitting at 3 seconds. And it's been that way for the last 2, 3, 4 laps. He's not getting any further ahead, and he's not getting any further back. Lando Norris has been battling Sergio Perez. And Perez better not let Lando Norris get past him. But it's exciting stuff that these McLarens have found something this year. Last year we saw the Aston Martins really found some stuff there, especially around this time. In fact, I think around this time, Alonso was about third in the Drivers' Championship. So Perez is 4 seconds behind Carlos Sainz. Sainz has dropped off of Leclerc, probably being given team orders there because forever and a day he was sitting there on DRS. So team probably told him, let's not fight this out, guys. Carlos, this is your last year with us anyway. So it doesn't matter where you come in. Everybody knows you're a great driver, Carlos, and we weren't that smart for letting you go. But please just let Charles Leclerc win this one as we get a screenshot of Adrian Newey. Hey, something's going on. Adrian's shaved. Isn't that interesting? The big news in Formula One, folks, is Adrian has shaved for the race. Normally he shows up with like a 3-day stubble and like he hasn't slept for those 3 days. Today he looks like smart and he's shaved as we watch now Lando Norris really battling Sergio Perez here for that 5th position. So let's see, where's our friend Danny Ricciardo? He's got DRS now on Magnussen. Hamilton hanging around there in 7th place. Get this, 10 seconds between Hamilton and Norris. They started right behind each other. Hamilton was right behind Lando Norris. He's 10 seconds back. George Russell is 1.9 seconds back at Hamilton. And Yuki Tsunoda, who started all the way back there, I think in the top 15, but it was like 14 or 15, he's found his way up to position number 9. As we see Perez now in for tires. Very nice pit stop there. A nice, tidy, 2.4 seconds. Come on, show me. 1.9. Whoa, that's not tidy. That's amazing. Yeah, very, very good. Very, very good. 1.9 seconds. 1.9 seconds. That's pretty close. I think the record was 1.8. Very nice tire change there. And I was just watching this gap with Max Verstappen in second place. He let it drop to 2.99. It's back up to 3.1. So I think there's some deliberate goings on there. Right now, Lando Norris is talking about stopping for tires now before Carlos Sainz. Well, Max Verstappen just put in the fastest lap. Well, he's opened the gap now to 3.5 seconds. It's tire changing time because we watched Leclerc come into the pits for tires. Another very nice, very quick pit stop by Leclerc's crew there. Let's see. That might be, can't be much better than Perez, but it's going to be very close to him. That was a very nice one. It was exactly the same, 1.9 seconds. These guys are getting really good at this stuff. Yeah, so Verstappen's going to put a little more distance, give it a little bit of a cushion, during the tire change, because we're at 20 laps now, so they got to get rid of these tires in the next 2 to 3 laps. As we watch Sergio Perez go past, who's going to go past? Yeah, one of the Alpine guys. I don't know which one it is. It was Esteban Ocon. that he just went by. All of these guys have got to stop for tires. Hamilton is on the hard. So's Leclerc. Yeah. So sorry. I'm thinking it's hard at my age to both think and talk, So it's called multitasking. I've got something in my eye now. All kinds of problems all of a sudden. So anyway, we watched Danny Ricciardo now about to take the 13th position away from Kevin Magnussen. So Danny Ricciardo is starting to really move his way up through the field. He keeps doing this, folks. He's going to get driver of the day. Mark my words. Come all the way back from last, and he's only now a couple of places away from scoring points. He scored points for that team yesterday. So those are big marks. If he can do anything close today like he did yesterday, he's starting to look better all of a sudden for that second seat behind Max Verstappen next year. Checo Perez brings a lot of money to the team, and that's a biggie. And he's not a bad driver. He's not a Formula One champion, but he's a hell of a second place driver, and he does a really good job. Looks like they'll bring Verstappen in and then change their mind. They're going to leave him out there for another couple of laps. I hit that come in turn 15, check the front wing. Oh, so in turn 15, he brushed the wall. That's not very good. Who got the fastest lap? Whoa, oh, he hit a bollard. Oh, that's not very good. He took out a whole bollard. That's a little bit about, he just lost it. He took out the bollard. Oh, no, front wing's okay. So it might be time to bring him in for tires. That's going to tell you right there that he doesn't have the grip as he drops that little bollard off on the side of the track. Is that going to bring out? Yeah, it might just bring, it's right in the middle of the track now. So it just might bring out a yellow car if we go around to get it. But his front wing's okay. No big problems. Just got a little bollard. And it's probably, 4 or 5 inches in diameter. So, and it's plastic, so it's not a big deal. Anyway, back to the race. You know what's wrong about Terry Bottas today? He had a good qualifying session yesterday. And today his car is just not doing well at all. And here goes the Ferrari guys going back in. Ferrari's got nice kind of light blue suits on them, this weekend. It's kind of nice, very interesting. Last year they went with yellow for a while, which was kind of interesting as well. So let's see, George Russell, the corner is blown onto the racing line. Aha. And out comes the virtual car, right? So they're bringing the virtual car now, pit stops plus 9 seconds. So here, think about this for a little goings on, folks. Max Verstappen wanted that yellow virtual car so he could pit under that. And who is pitted? Yeah, there's a bunch of pits going on right now. Some good pit stop time, 2.5, 2.3, Magnus and 2.8, not so good. But the virtual car is ending, right? So did Verstappen get in? I don't think he did. Neither did Piastri, or Carlos Sainz, or Lando Norris. But if Verstappen comes in now, he'd still come out in fourth. He'd come out in third. So let's say box, they're going to bring him in right now. So some interesting stuff there that they didn't bring him in under the caution. But he's in now, so let's see. I think he's going to drop the third. That's a beautiful pit stop. 1.8, 2.2. Not as good as Perez. Maybe they should swap teams. Excuse me, guys. For some reason, my allergies are starting to act up again. Yeah, he's come out in fourth, so 4 seconds behind there. So he's going to be in third place for 2 laps, second place for 2 laps, then back to first place. Carlos Sainz hasn't pitted, neither has Lando Norris. So yeah, might only be 2 laps to be done in another lap and a half, because those guys are going to have to pit so that they don't lose too much time to him. Fernando Alonso is battling Esteban Ocon. They're already doing vote overtake of the day award. Got to go to Ricciardo. Now up to 11, folks. Danny Ricciardo is up to 11. Those hard tires are really starting to come to him as he gets into the race. And 48, so we're not quite halfway through yet. We've got another 3-4 laps and we'll be halfway through. So those hard tires should be good for well into the late 30s. So this costs a bit compared to the Piastri. We need to push a bit more for these laps. Yeah, but the race is long, guys. The tire feels good. Oh, that's Leclerc. Okay. So they're trying to get Leclerc up there, who's just put in the fastest lap. Try to stay up with Verstappen. Verstappen now has 10 seconds between him and Norris. But like I said, those guys haven't pitted, so they go in and pit. Unless there's a caution flag, then that means that he's going to gain about 13 seconds on them while they're in the pits. And he's got the hard tire, so it's a one-stop strategy, which probably everybody's on a one-stop strategy. For this particular track. I think that was it last year. We haven't seen the attendance for the weekend. That'll pop up soon enough, I'm sure, because they like to brag about that stuff. But lots of motorhomes and boats, of course. Right? You got that man-made farm. They cut those boats in there in the middle of a football stadium parking lot. Only American promoters can think of that stuff, folks. I tell you, they're genius at that stuff. We've got a little bit of DRSing going on there in the back of the field. Ricciardo now. Guys, Ricciardo is up to 10. So Ricciardo now is in the points place. Whereas Yuki Tsunoda is 8. So get this. both of the Red Bull number 2 teams are scoring points now. Lots of little overtaking going on right now, which, no, that's nice. It kind of makes the race exciting. It hasn't been a dull race today at all. There's been lots of stuff going on. Probably the most interesting is that Max Verstappen hasn't put 20 seconds on everybody. But I'm wondering if Red Bull would just told to kind of hang back and make it a little, yeah, we know you're going to win, but at least, make it interesting for the spectators. It's impossible to see the curve now in the chicane. Why? Did it go away? Oh, because the bollard is the little bollard that told him where the curve was in the chicane, it's gone because Max Verstappen wiped it out. So maybe other strategies going on there with Red Bull. Make them see where they can't make it so they can't see where they're going. All interesting stuff, right? So anyway, we're only a couple of laps away now from the halfway mark as we watch George Russell now go past Esteban Ocon. We don't hear a lot about George Russell much in these commentations and watching him anymore. He's just sitting where he's back there in 11th. Danny Ricciardo past George Russell, folks. Yeah. In the Red Bull number 2 past the Mercedes number 1. Let that sink in for a minute. Hamilton's gone into the pits. That's strange because he was on the hard tires and it's only lap 27. So he's going to have to do two pit stops because unless he got a second set of hards. So let's see what it is. 2.4 second tire change. What did they put on there? Mediums. They'll have to come in. Maybe at the end put on soft. At least get maybe a fastest lap or something. Make a point that way. Right now he's in points. He's in 9th. But Danny Ricciardo's got DRS on him. So it could be, we're going to see Danny, well, he did. He doesn't anymore. But Danny Ricciardo is right up there with him. So let's see what's happening. Yuki Tsunoda is now up into 7th, right behind Sergio Perez. Now they're bringing in Carlos Sainz, who is currently in 2nd place. Verstappen is not worried about making up any time because he knows he's not happy. They're all going to come in for tires. So Sainz is in for tires on lap 28. That's some really nice tire management to get 28 laps out of those medium tires. Oscar Piastri is now in. So that only leaves Lando Norris, who's he's on mediums too. So he's going to have to come in. So that's going to put Max Verstappen back into, you guessed it, 1st place. And right now he's got 2.7 seconds on, Leclerc. So, yeah, interesting stuff going on with Verstappen today because I think that car's much better than 2 or 3 seconds up on everybody. So somebody risk, guys at Formula One, going to the folks at Red Bull and say, guys, give us a break. You got to help us out here. So that's what I think is going. Oh, it's really, really low grip. I locked up the wheels. Oh, okay. So that's not very good to hear. I didn't get to see who it was. Yellow flag. Something has happened. We're on lap 28. So this is really right about halfway through. And it is a Haas car that, he doesn't have a front nose cone. And, who did he get mixed up with? He got mixed up where he still has his nose cone, but it's broken. And so out comes McLaren's coming in. So this is really good for Lando Norris, because he's only going to come out a couple of seconds behind, Max Verstappen in 2nd place. Is that Logan Sargent? It is. Yeah. Logan Sargent wrecked out again. Now, let's not be too critical, John. You don't know whose fault it was, but we'll get the replay in just a minute. Lando Norris might come out. Here he's in. And 10, 11, 12, 13, 2.6 seconds stop time. Let's see, total seconds, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So he's going to come out just ahead. Lando Norris. Well, no, he's no hope because they had to slow down. Oh, so actually Norris is going to maintain 1st position here. Very interesting. Very interesting. So now, can he hold off Max Verstappen for 30 laps? I don't think so. Let's see. We're going to replay what happened here. So out goes Hulkenberg, and Hulkenberg pushes. I don't know if Hulkenberg didn't give him enough room or he's there. Let's see how far out Hulkenberg goes. Oh yeah, Hulkenberg didn't give him enough room. Yeah, that's Hulkenberg. That's on Hulkenberg. He didn't give him any racing room. He was overtaking, but yeah, so Williams was ahead, so that was not Logan Sargent's fault. So chalk that one up to Hulkenberg. Can't figure out the gap between Lando Norris and Verstappen. It's showing Verstappen 31 seconds. They have to slow down and maintain 2/3 the speed. So it's taking them a lot longer to get around the track. In the meantime, he goes in and he gets tires and comes out. The typical pit stop's 25 seconds. And, now it's showing the interval 22 seconds is still in, but I don't know. We're going to have to wait until racing gets underway again. So can Max Verstappen make up 28, 30 seconds in, let's see, 27 laps? Yeah. a second a lap? Yeah, you can do it. Valtteri Bottas is going in for tyres. All right, so while they clean up these cars off the track, I'm going to take another short break. Okay, so we're getting ready for the safety car to come out as we get a shot of Hannah Smith, the brilliant strategist for Red Bull Racing, in particular for Max Verstappen. And so the stewards have come out and handed Magnussen a 10-second penalty for ending Logan Sargent's day. Not good. And if you ever noticed, it's always these guys in these, I won't say sub-par teams because, these teams cost $1 billion. So, but it's always, the Haas, the Williams, the Alpines, it's always those guys and not the McLarens and the Ferraris and the Mercedes and stuff. Although I will say, Mercedes, Lewis Hamilton these past few weeks has really, not been too good of a driver. But anyway, so right now the safety car is ending and, the time difference between Verstappen and Norris is about half a second. So, because as the longer the safety car, then they're all kind of bunched up. So, anyway, Verstappen is sitting in second, half a second behind the McLaren, followed by Leclerc, Piastri, Sainz, and Perez. Then you've got Tsunoda, Hamilton. What happened to my buddy Ricciardo? Hamilton, Russell, Ocon, Gasly. I guess Ricciardo, stepped out for some tires because he's no longer in the top 15 there. But I can't see the whole screen yet, so when it comes back, I'll get to be able to look at that. So, and we're going back to green flag, and of course, they can't go until Norris goes, and Norris is going now, and he's got Max Verstappen right on his tail, followed by Leclerc and Piastri. So it's just like the start of the race again, really, with the exception that Norris is the leader and Verstappen is right behind him. And of course, there's no DRS yet. That'll come in one more lap. But even so, I wouldn't be surprised to see Verstappen get past, although Norris is doing a nice job of opening up a little bit of a 100 to 200 more of a second gap. In fact, he's at 900. So that McLaren has got some really nice acceleration to it in the first and middle sector there. So we'll see what happens at the end of the middle sector and the last sector. So, we're at 33 laps of 57, so 24 laps left. It's been quite an interesting race today. It hasn't been quote unquote dominated, and Verstappen just dropped off out of DRS, so that gives Lando Norris a little bit of a comfortable feeling there. But I don't think that'll be. Verstappen's probably waiting for his tires to warm up a little bit before he decides to put the major move on. So anyway, at the top end, Verstappen is falling back from Lando Norris. He's now 1.5 seconds behind, which is really, really interesting. And Perez has DRS on Sainz. Sainz has DRS on Piastri. Piastri does not have, but Leclerc has DRS on Max Verstappen. So something happened with those tires as we watch Sainz go past Piastri. And nearly took him out as Piastri went back past him. Carlos Sainz nearly took. You think why is these tracks on as much experience driving that these guys have? You think they'd be able to stay out of each other's way every now and then. They'll pick the spots better where to pass or not pass. Sometimes the brain doesn't work right. He pushed me off. Yeah, we saw that, Carlos. Then they cry like babies to their team. And it's who was it I saw? I saw an interview with Sebastian Vettel, and these drivers get quite ugly with each other during the heat of battle. Ooh, they touched wheels that time again. Wow. But I'm gonna blame Carlos Sainz on that one. We're on it. I don't know, Carlos. Let's see. We've got Lewis Hamilton getting passed by Yuki Tsunoda. Oh, and Lewis Hamilton's right front wheel just brushed into Yuki Tsunoda as he was trying to take that position back. There's a lot of wheel touching going on. Can you imagine touching wheels with another car at 130, 140 miles an hour and expecting it to stay on the track? Which they do. Yeah. They keep it up there. But, anyway, Verstappen now is 1.5 seconds behind, Lando Norris. So he's actually coming back a bit now. So those tires are starting to come to him, but Leclerc has DRS. What's that? Just tell him to give me the position and he doesn't get a penalty. They're making up their own rules as they go now. Kind of funny, isn't it? Just tell him to give me the position, he doesn't get a penalty. I don't think he's going to get a penalty, quite frankly, Carlos. because I think that's just racing. But let's see what the stewards say. But I think they'll just put that down as a racing incident. And nobody got hurt. Yeah, you touched tires and you got pushed off the track, but at the end of the day, nobody got hurt that badly. Carlos Sainz, tell McLaren to be telling him because they need to be telling him. That's so funny. They're not going to, Carlos. He's going to keep it. He likes this place up there ahead of you. And at 208 miles an hour, Carlos is going to try taking him on the outside again and was not successful. So obviously what was happening before, the Piastri's tires weren't sticking very well. Now they are. And so it's driving Carlos Sainz nuts. And the other thing, of course, is Perez now has DRS on Sainz. Verstappen's losing time to Lando Norris. He's now 1.9 seconds back. And he only got 20 laps to do something about it. So we'll see what happens there. As Carlos Sainz had DRS on Oscar Piastri, but he didn't manage to get anything done. So anyway, let's see. Fastest lap goes to Lando Norris. So obviously, I just wonder, because Verstappen's got such a big lead in the Formula One race. I'm wondering if there's a little gamesmanship now going on, because I just watched him that whole half before that yellow car came out. I just watched him not making any ground at all, which he could, because when he decided he wanted to make a couple of seconds, he did it in like 2 laps, which means he could get this back in like 2 laps too. But yeah, I'm just wondering if we might have another race winner today, courtesy of the Formula One Association. Yeah, FIA. No, not FIA. F1. There's a difference. FIA makes all the rules and hands out all the penalties and everything. But Verstappen is just not, he's actually dropping back a little bit. And that's, I don't think that's him as we're watching, Hamilton sitting back there in 7th. And there's nothing he can do about it. All the cars ahead of him are much better than he is, in terms of car and driver. Let's see. Where's Ricciardo? Danny's stuck back there. He does have DRS on Hulkenberg. Where's Yuki Tsunoda? Yuki Tsunoda is up in 8th place. So he's still ahead of George Russell. Remember, he passed George Russell earlier. So, and he passed, Hamilton, but Hamilton got past him. So right now, Yuki Tsunoda is stuck between the 2 Mercedes. So yeah, very, very interesting stuff going on. More interesting on no further investigation. I told you, Carlos, that they're going to put that down to racing, and they did. So now Piastri, Sainz rather, is still got DRS on Piastri, but he just doesn't have enough to get past him. I think that McLaren's just good enough to stay ahead of him. So, but Piastri, I think, is making up a little time on Leclerc. Verstappen is still losing time to Lando Norris, 2.3. So, will this be Lando Norris's first day to win a Formula One race, courtesy of Formula One? Because there's no way, after the way Verstappen was driving at the beginning of the race and the way he's driving now, there's no way that those tires are that bad, and there's certainly no way Verstappen is that bad. And he doesn't have to win every race to win the Formula One. Stay focused. 20 laps to go. Right. That's Sainz team, Tyron Stein. Yeah, he's all mad, and he's stuck right behind Oscar Piastri, and he just can't get past it. It's driving him nuts. And it's really interesting watching, because Piastri, of course, is a lot younger. This is his 2nd year in Formula One, and Carlos Sainz now is probably on his 5th or 6th. But yeah, it's really interesting watching kind of a rookie, and you have to say, not a veteran, but a seasoned driver, battling it out, and the rookie winning. And of course, one of the reasons for that is the rookie doesn't know what the hell can happen when things go wrong. I can't get the car to turn. It's a disaster. Okay. Well, thanks for letting us know, Max. We'll fix that quickly for you. We'll give it a little more understeer, oversteer, whichever would suit you better, and then we'll be good to go. So in the meantime, we've got right at 20 laps to go, and I'm going to be taking another short break. And so we're back, and I think some very interesting things going on. Because what's really interesting is Verstappen is losing a little time to Lando Norris, but Leclerc is not catching Verstappen. So it's like they're just all moving back. This is, I know I'm a conspiracy theorist, right? I think there's a little bit of fixing going on today, because Hamilton's got DRS on Perez, but he's not going to get past it. But the top 3-4 places, I think, are being fixed. I think Sainz has been told to stay behind Leclerc. Verstappen has agreed not to win the race, but he's got to come in 2nd, right? Because he's now 3.9 seconds behind Norris, but the gap between Verstappen and Leclerc has been exactly 2.2, 2.3 seconds the whole time. That means as Verstappen is losing time, then so is Leclerc. As the gap between Leclerc and Sainz is remaining exactly the same. You can't have that at the top of the race like this. The only battle they've got going on is between Hamilton and Perez. And of course, if I'm right, there's an agreement on the finish for this race, which it sure looks like to me there is. Okay. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but it really looks like there was an agreed winner, for today's race. Now, I'm not saying that it was agreed at the beginning that it was going to be Lando Norris. I think the timing of the safety car and everything, just put him in that, but it could have been Leclerc, it could have been, but I think the agreement was whoever during the tire changes, whoever ended up ahead of Verstappen at the end of the tire changes would be the one to win the race. And that's exactly what's going to happen. We've got 13, 14 laps left in this race, and there's not going to be any changes in the top 5 or top 6. Maybe 7, no, not the top 7, not top 8, not top 9. Well, yeah, Alonso will get past Esteban Ocon. But that is it. That's the only thing that's going to happen. Danny Ricciardo's got himself back up to 15, but, he's got DRS on Joe Granu. Joe Granu's got DRS on Alex Albon. So yeah, the top 10 is set. The only differences I see at the bottom, is I think that Danny Ricciardo will get up to about 12, but that means he's come in second place again, this number 2 driver, Yuki Tsunoda. So, that's not going to sit well as we watch, Alonso trying to get past Esteban Ocon, here, with 12 laps now left to go. And Verstappen, Leclerc, and Sainz and Perez all keep moving slightly down. So yeah. So Lando Norris is going to, I believe will be his first, Formula One win. I don't believe he's won one before. This is going to be McLaren's first win in a long time as well. I think the last time they won, if I think was, with Sebastian Vettel about 8-9 years ago. So yeah, so it's going to be a sad, tough day, a good, sad, tough day for McLaren, because Piastri, who was doing so well, got into a battle with Leclerc. With Carlos Sainz, came off second best when his left front of his wing just barely touched the right rear wheel of Carlos Sainz, and so then he had to come out and change his wing out. So anyway, I don't think he's going to come in last though, as the way it looks. But let me take a short break here as my phone is lighting up in the background. Okay, and I am back, folks, and we've got exactly 10 laps left in this race. The podium is going to be Lando Norris will win this race, and then it will be number 2, Max Verstappen, and number 3, Charles Leclerc, and that's going to be it. Let's see, Hamilton still battling Perez, but like I said, I don't think anything's going to come out of that unless Perez makes a mistake. Or Hamilton makes a mistake and ends up back, in 9th or 10th, where he typically is, and his teammate George Russell, who was genuinely ahead of him in most of the races this year, for some reason he's not in the competition today. So I think this last couple of weeks has been a lot of talk behind the scenes as we watch Alonso go past. Let me rephrase that. Try to go past Esteban Ocon, didn't quite make it. But right now they're both in the points, so that's okay. Pierre Gasly, Hulkenberg, those guys are going to stay the same. Lance Stroll has got DRS on Joe Granu back for 12th, 13th position. 13th, 14th position. So not a lot happening. Piastri now has moved up one place, so he's making his way up through the field, but he's probably going to finish 16th, 17th at best in the 10 laps to go. And they want to vote who's driver of the day. Of course, they're going to give it to Lando Norris, because Lando's going to win the race and it's going to be his first race. I do believe it's his first race. Please don't climb all over me if I'm wrong about that, but I think I'm right. Anyway, good for Lando Norris. Great day for him, even if it is fixed. And this race, folks, is fixed. I'm sorry. Somebody's gone to Red Bull and said, listen, you got to give some other people the chance. Win the championships, win your constructors, win your drivers, but please, let's give the other drivers some of the glory. You don't need any more records. You got all the records. So, share the love of winning the race, because that's what's happened today. There's no way that car went downhill that fast, and that driver certainly didn't go downhill that fast, and he'll be quite satisfied with second place. 5th, 6th, 7th, you heard what he said. He was offered 150, 250, insane number from Mercedes, and he said, so the money would be very nice to have, but I don't really do this for money. I do it because I like winning. I enjoy the competition. And he said, so if you, right now, let's say I have 50 million a year and I come in first a lot. If I had 250 million a year and I came in fifth and sixth and seventh, I'd be very bad tempered. So I'll just keep the 50 million because I really don't need any more than that. I'm set for life. I got my little plane, my yacht, my house. I got it all. So no, I'm not switching teams for money. So, the way to get Max Verstappen onto your teams, if you're listening, is to build a better race car than Adrian Newey is building. And they got Adrian all of this year, and he will be there making sure the car is all good. Because it's not getting out until May or June of next year, so all the little tweaks that need to be made to the car, it'll all be made by then. So that means Max is going to be champion this year, next year. So what will that make it? Will we put 5 in a row? Is that what he's going to do? 5 and retire? Current votes it. They're voting for, as I said, Lando Norris voting. I'm sorry, we're talking about a driver of the day. Piastri's in second place, and I think so good. He's now up. He's moved up 2 more spots. Danny Ricciardo is still stuck in 16, and Piastri got the DRS on him. He has DRS on Joe Granu. So I would say they're going to move ahead with Joe Granu. So that's going to put Ricciardo up to 15th, and I think Piastri will finish 14th. So we'll see, but it doesn't make any difference. There's 7 laps left, and oh, folks, exciting news. The gap between Verstappen and it just went back again. How about that? As I said, it dropped under 2 seconds. Well, I said it's maybe about 2.2, 2.3. Right now, back under 1.9 seconds. So we're going to put in some variation here. Now, 2.1, there we're back to where we were. So, as we watch Lewis Hamilton again, battling, Sergio Perez. What's interesting to me is they would vote, Lewis Hamilton a potential driver of the day, but he hasn't been able to get past Sergio Perez, and Perez wasn't even on the list of voting driver of the day. What does that really tell you about the voting for driver of the day? It's not that these people think they're great drivers. They're just voting for their favorite driver. That's all it is. Anyway, and that's the way it should be. It's fun. Let's not get into another conspiracy theory, John. Okay? They're just voting fun. But, it's interesting that Lando Norris, has now opened up a 6-second lead on Max Verstappen. But the gap between Leclerc and Verstappen, well, now it's 2.4. That never really changes. Go figure that. Never really changes. And who are we watching get past? Oh, this is what I said before. This is Oscar Piastri getting past Danny Ricciardo. And Ricciardo took the place back. Oh, okay. So I remember I just said that would be a battle. They've got to battle it out with Joe Granu. Piastri needs to let, Danny Ricciardo get past Joe Granu to do anything. No, why Danny Ricciardo's had such a bad day. Obviously, when he had the hard tires, he was doing much better. These medium tires have not done any kind of good for him. So anyway, we've got about 6 laps left, and I'm going to take another short break. Okay, folks, I am back, and we are getting close to the end of this race, and it is going to end exactly as I said it would about, 20, 25 minutes ago. Norris will win, Verstappen will be second, and Leclerc will be third. And yes, Norris put up 7 seconds between himself and Verstappen, but the gap between Verstappen and Leclerc and Sainz and Perez didn't change. And Hamilton, as I predicted, would not get past Perez. So why they would want to vote him driver of the day, I don't know, as everybody cheers on Lando Norris as he comes up for his last lap and his winning lap. Good for Lando. I think the fix was in today. Who's Lisa? Some girl by the name of Lisa is going to wave the flag, whoever Lisa is. It says she's a musician. So I guess, anybody that's a musician can wave the checkered flag. I'm sure it's a lot of fun and a great honor to wave the checkered flag at a Formula One race. They had the head of Apple, right? Mr. Cook, he did it. I've never seen such a wimpy flag waving in all my life, but at least he managed to make it wave a little bit, like it. Anyway, get past criticizing Mr. Cook, because you're about to see a new winner of a Formula One race, this week, in Miami. And, Max Verstappen's going to be all smart. He hasn't been talking. A little while ago, he just said this car doesn't turn. So that was just to let everybody know, well, I'm not really letting him win, but he did. That was let the McLaren car win. But like I said, I don't think it was picked to be the McLaren car. I just think at the tire change, whoever came out ahead of him was going to be the one that was going to win the race. So yeah, sad. I really think this was a fixed race, especially when you look at the top 5 or 6. Yeah. Now, where's my friend, Daniel Ricciardo? Still stuck in 17th place, and Piastri got ahead of him. So Piastri going to finish in 15th. So he made himself up 3-4 spots because, yeah, Logan Sargent. Although in defense of Logan Sargent, it was not his fault this weekend. He was taken out. Magnussen is going to be penalized again for not serving the penalty properly. So as the checkered flag comes down, ladies and gentlemen, the winner is Lando Norris, as I predicted some 35 minutes ago, followed by Mr. Verstappen and Mr. Leclerc. And of course, the folks at McLaren are so happy, and they should be. They haven't won a race in a long time, even if it was a little fixed. So as we come to an end of another Formula One race, and we'll be back on the 19th, by the way, we want to thank our sponsors. Thank you very much. We'll see you in 2 weeks on the 19th, I believe it is. Until then, this is Jonathan Steele saying thanks for joining us here on the Formula One News Hour. See you next time.